So we know the Dolphins have cut Emmanuel Agba. They're most likely going to cut Xavier Howard, saving some cap space. More moves to be made this offseason. There will be moves, but what will they be? Well, former Dolphins executive Mike Tenenbaum kind of rattled some cages earlier this week saying, you know what the Dolphins need to do? Straight up, they need to trade Jalen Waddle. Straight up trade Kansas City cornerback Trent McDuffie. We get Trent McDuffie. They get Jalen Waddle.
I got it for you. You want to hear him?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I love this one. Two great young players. Trent McDuffie straight up for Jalen Waddle, and here's why. If you're Miami, you're probably going to cut Xavier Howard as a cap casualty. So you get Trent McDuffie, who is a great young player. So that's for Miami. Obviously, you still have a great receiver in Tyreek Hill. On the other side of it, for Kansas City, you need a number one receiver. Jeff alluded to it earlier in the show. Jalen Waddle really has a chance to be a number one. And under this scenario, Dan, I'm assuming you're going to franchise L'Jarius Sneed, and then you have some other younger corners in Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. So these are great young players traded to fit needs on the other team.
Why do you hate it so much, Vlad?
Why would you help the defending champs, the two-time defending champs, with a problem that they have, but have yet somehow, some way win the last two Super Bowls without having a number one, but you're going to give them a number one?
Okay.
Get a cornerback, even though you drafted a cornerback last year in the second round.
Cam Smith?
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. That's why Mike Tannenbaum is the only person that can bring the Miami Dolphins and New York Jets fans together, because we both equally hate that man. He's dumb. He also said later on in that same show that the Jets should sign Russell Wilson to be the backup to Aaron Rodgers. I want to smack fire out of him. Like, I really do. I just want to smack fire.
I understand your hatred, but let's get into this a little bit. Okay, first things first, that's a crazy trade. Number two, Tyreek Hill took to social media and just went crazy saying, number one, that it's ridiculous, that Jalen Waddle needs to be with the Dolphins, that he shouldn't go there, that Jalen Waddle at this point in his career is better than Tyreek Hill was at that point early in his career. Then went on to say that Tua and Waddle were great before he got here to Miami and will be great afterwards. Meaning,
the only receiver in Dolphin history to have first 3 years to have 1,000 yards. Okay, so come on.
Now I want to ask you this: pound for pound, who is the better player, Trent McDuffie or Jalen Waddle?
Wow, that's a good question, because McDuffie's. I'm gonna go with Waddle, because he's done it. He's been there for a year longer.
So you're saying that the All-Pro Trent McDuffie is not as good of a player as Jalen Waddle?
I think they're both great players, but I'm gonna take the guy that's done it a year more. I think this is McDuffie's second year,
and
this is Waddle's third. This was Waddle's third year, and he was banged up. Waddle could put up any type of numbers. So it depends on what you want, bro. Really, I mean, you're not gonna go bad either way. You understand why they made the trade for Tyreek, because with that trade for Tyreek, and that's the other thing. Why would the Chiefs give back a piece that they got back from the Tyreek trade? Yo, Tannenbaum is dumb, yo.
Okay.
Oh my!
I'm just trying to figure out why I'm trying to figure out his reasoning and thinking.
He's dumb. Tanner dumb. Here's the thing: they traded Tyreek and got, with those picks, they got McDuffie. So you're gonna take that pick and then trade it back to the
and let's be honest, you're gonna get somewhat of a lesser version of Tyreek Hill in Jalen Waddle, at least right now in their career.
Come on, bro. This guy's a weirdo.
But then again, you have to look long term. You need Jalen Waddle because Tyreek Hill might not be here forever. Although I do think that Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, is somewhat of a freak and can play for a very long time.
You also have him for another. You don't have to give him the big money for another year, and you can franchise him.
But you might want the idea and like the idea of Jalen Ramsey on one side and Trent McDuffie on the other, because you're going to get rid of Xavier Howard, and maybe you think Mike McDaniel's a genius, and you think Tua is that guy, and you think that Tyreek Hill is good enough, and you're going to find a number two that can
where? Because you couldn't find number three.
Once again, maybe you draft.
You had a 1 and 2. You don't have a number 3. You don't have a tight end. Okay,
I'm going through his thinking right now.
No, he has no thinking. He has a receding. That's why he's bald. Cut your hair, Tannenbaum. It's over.
You really got
it's over, Johnny. I hate him. I hate that man.
Okay. I could see the thinking that Trent McDuffie, pound for pound, might be a better player than Jalen Waddle.
It's not even about better player, okay? It's about this.
where it falls apart is it just doesn't make sense for either team.
You had a top 10 defense, Dan, with Xavier playing the way he played last year. You're not keeping him anymore. Clearly, there were guys in the doghouse, and we talked about this over the,
I thought Cam Smith was great the times I
Okay.
saw him play in preseason.
So
when I say great, he was in position.
we see with the new defensive coordinator, Mr. Weaver, what's going to happen. But I don't think you lessen your offense by trading Jalen Waddle, unless you're going to draft a receiver at 17, which I don't think you are.
Well, you're at 21.
21, I'm sorry. You're going to draft a receiver at 21, which I don't think you are, because you got to shore up that line. What are you going to do out there? And like I said, most of the money that you're going to get, that significant money, that significant cap space money, it's not going to happen until June 1st. So you're going to lose. That's after the draft. You're going to have to make decisions. So why would you trade a guy that once Tyreek's contract is up, you could give him the money, or you don't have to pay him for another year or two? Makes no sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense. That's why he must, him and Greeny, I don't know, man. Greeny must feel bad for him. Greeny must feel bad for Tannenbaum. That was ridiculous.
I just don't think it's a good long-term deal for the Dolphins. You need Jalen Waddle going forward. Plus, he's been great so far these first 3 years. Also, got to believe that you drafted Cam Smith for a reason. Get him out there. He should be a serviceable, if not really good, cornerback. Trent McDuffie, okay. You don't want to give any more firepower, especially what was considered one of the weak points to the Kansas City Chiefs, who did win the Super Bowl. Just doesn't work out right. It just doesn't work out for a straight up trade for a guy that you drafted, that you worked with, Jalen Waddle, who you like, who's been successful. Just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Now, a lot of people have said this. I agree with Jeff Darlington. I'm saying people have said this. He thinks Miami should bring Derrick Henry into the fold in 2024. A lot of Dolphins Nation very excited about that. A big, strong, powerful running back. I'm here to tell you, I don't think it's necessary.
What do you mean?
It's going to cost a lot of money. And look, we last year, we got to get Dalvin Cook. Everything seemed pretty fine with Raheem Mostert and the stable of running backs that we had. Devon Achane, you don't believe in Devon Achane? Speaking of young guys that are on rookie contracts that are going to make less money than Derrick Henry is going to get. You don't think? Are you in the school that we need to get Derrick Henry, find a way to get him?
I do believe you need to get Derrick Henry.
Running backs were extremely, extremely successful last year for this team.
Yeah, but there's certain type of running backs you need in certain type of conditions. And weather.
Game like December,
January. Yeah, he's built for that.
Even if he's going to cost you $7 to $10 million per year.
Okay, that's better than paying Dalvin Cook. Look what Dalvin Cook that bit my team in the ass.
Exactly.
So that was a good deal. Dalvin Cook was also thinking of coming down here. He didn't, and it was a good thing he did it. But Raheem Mostert and Achane, they've been hurt. They get banged up. Derrick Henry, not really. He's a man.
He's had injuries in the past.
Yeah, not like not the type of injuries that you're gonna miss in a important game against Buffalo or stuff like that.
So you're saying he takes us to the next level, not just monetarily.
I think
you
put Derrick Henry with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Tua in his third year into that offense. I think you just really balance your offense out. Now it will really be on McDaniel if I see, instead of running the ball when you have Derrick Henry, you're throwing the ball because you want to show that you're some genius. If you do that in third year in a row, I already told you your Nike fits on the foreman, baby.
You'd be in a lot of trouble if you get Derrick Henry and don't use him like that.
Nah, it's not even trouble. You're fired.
Use him as a decoy.
You're fired.
But Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jeff Wilson Jr., those guys, they had outstanding years, extremely productive years, record years.
And what did that do in week 17, 18, and wild card round? Meant absolutely nothing.
Raheem Mostert made it to a Pro Bowl.
So what?
Broke
Anybody
records.
can make it to the Pro Bowl.
Single season records.
Bro, you can make it to the Pro Bowl. You know that, right?
I could.
Yeah.
Devon Achane broke all types of rookie records for running back. Jeff Wilson Jr. was good. Remember against Dallas? He had that big run at the end of the game. Closing time.
I'm playing the violin for the people who just listening can't see on YouTube and Twitch. Stop. I don't want to. No, bro. I don't understand how if you can improve your team with somebody like Derrick Henry, you wouldn't go out and do it. And you need to do it, man. You need to. For 2 years, to me, I think as great as this offense has been, I think the thing that's bothered me the most, if you're a Dolphin fan or just a fan of football, and you like the way that like you make Mike McDaniel's schemes are, it's the fact that they didn't run the ball at all. And I really think it's something in that offense, the people that run that type of Shanahan offense. Because Shanahan in the Super Bowl, what was the first 6 plays he did coming out of the second half, where having a lead and just coming out with an interception, intercepting Patrick Mahomes? What did he do? He passed the ball instead of running the ball with the best running back in the game. Christian, you had the top 3 running attack last year. The Dolphins had. They didn't run the ball. Yes, they had injuries with the offensive line, but you still got to pound the ball.
You got to run the ball.
Still got to run the ball, and they didn't do that. And it's the same situation that happened in year 1 with McDaniels. So then, therefore, if you don't think Mostert and HN is the power duo, I mean, you got lightning, you got speed. Lightning. You might want to bring in thunder, and ain't no bigger thunder pause than Derrick Henry.
Well, what you would have to do is what? You would have to trade Raheem Mostert. You would have to bring in Derrick Henry.
Raheem's been through 8 teams,
You still got Devon Achane, who is on a rookie contract, so that's not something you have to worry about. And just kind of piecemeal it together. And at the same time, hope Derrick Henry doesn't get hurt, because you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket. And you're spending some money, $7 to $10 million most likely a year.
He's worth it.
And I mean, the salary cap is going up. That is an argument for Derrick Henry right there. So that does give you a chance. Does Derrick Henry win you the games in December? Does Derrick Henry win you playoff games?
I believe so.
If he's healthy, he does have that brutal style. I mean, he is just.
But could you imagine
he's bigger than some of the guys trying to tackle him.
Could you imagine him and Achane?
That's the thing. You do have that lightning and thunder. You couldn't keep Raheem Mostert though. Even though Raheem Mostert.
C'est la vie, man. C'est la vie.
It's life. That's life. You upgrade. Well, we've talked about this too. Why do you get rid of Alex Smith and put in Colin Kaepernick? Why do you get rid of Alex Smith and put in Patrick Mahomes? Ceiling gets a little bit higher when you do something like that. Is Derrick Henry going to raise that ceiling right to where we want it?
Sorry, I read a text from the 954 that said, that's questioning what you're asking. It said Robert Edwards, Thurman Thomas, Chris Carter, Danny Amendola, Henry can be added to the list of players the Fins signed way too late. This will probably happen because this is what we do.
Is Derrick Henry on the back end and kind of past his prime? Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, what if you get a 75% of what you expected from Derrick Henry and not the full Derrick Henry, King Henry that you were
But how many carries you giving him? I'm not trying to give that man 20, 25 carries now. I just want to give him like 15 to 20.
You're going to pay him all that money to...
He can get you 100 yards when 20 carries, and the other 10 to 12 can go to HN. Yeah, come on now. What are we doing here?
You just figure it out with whatever other running backs you can get.
You should be able to run with HN, Henry, and some other running back, some jabroni. You should be able to get 2,000 yards between those 3.
Someone to eat up some runs. You have the lightning and thunder there. You also have Raheem Mostert, who had a career year. He's getting older though.
You're not in the financial what's the word I'm looking for? Because what's the word? Apocalypse that Omar Kelly had mentioned, because now with the salary cap going up and what you're doing with the contracts that you're releasing these players. But the problem is, like I said, is when you're going to be able to sign these players and give. Right. So because Christian Wilkins is not going to be.
They're going to retain him no matter what.
They're going to have to, because he's not waiting till June 1st.
No, they already said that they're going to find a way to keep him in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's franchise tag, whether it's give him a deal. They said they're going to have him on the team next year. At least that is their plan. I'll say this, Vlad. You're kind of swaying me a little bit. If this is all in year 2, well then go all in. You're either all in or you're all out. Go all in. Go get Derrick Henry.
This is all in for everyone.
Go get Derrick Henry. You know what? We're all in. Put your cards on the table. Go all in.
This is year 3 of Tyreek. This is year 3 of Mike McDaniel.
Okay, all in. Let's go. Go get Derrick Henry. If it doesn't work out, you end up like the Jets last year, all in.
Yeah.
But you know what? At least you go all in. If you're gonna, but like I said, you can't serve two gods. If you're either gonna be all in or you're all out. Go all in. Raheem Mostert, thank you. We can get some draft capital for you. Derrick Henry, here's $10 million. That sounds crazy. Let's go. This is it. All or nothing right now. Where do you think that gets you, though, at best? AFC Championship game?
I don't know, man. AFC's going to be so tough next season. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
you got to give it a shot. Okay, I'm in. Let's go. Derrick Henry, let's find a way.
You're going to have to make moves because other teams are going to make moves.
Yeah, everybody's making moves.
And the running back market and free agency is going to be unbelievable this year. What do you have? You have Austin Eckler, you have Saquon, you have Derrick Henry, you have Tony Pollard, you have Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, yeah.
You're going to have players that teams are going to look at them and be like, we add this piece to our roster, we might be able to win. Say what you want about the Chiefs. They ran the ball with Isaiah Pacheco.
Yes, they did.
Niners got to the dance because they had the best running back in the game.
Yep. Deebo Samuel. I'm all in now.
Wait, Christian McCaffrey's the best running back.
Well, I mean, Deebo Samuel's like a receiver and a runner and everything else. Is Christian McCaffrey the best?
Yes.
Okay.
It ain't even close.
He almost won the MVP, so I guess maybe that's a point too. I'm all in. Let's go. Let's go in all in. And then if it doesn't work this year, we'll pay the piper whenever.
Well, you're gonna pay the piper.
We're gonna have to pay the piper. The piper's just waiting, man.
So from how I look at it, I think Tua gets his contract done in June.
I think now with the salary cap and everything like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think his contract is. I think he gets he signs his extension in June.
I think that's true, and I think he gets paid more than we initially thought he was going to get paid.
I think he's going to get 50.
Yep, 48, 49.
I think he's going to get 50 now.
I went from saying 40 to 45 to now 45 to 50.
I think he's